against what's already existing at the school. Constructivism is not people's favorite way to think about learning. It's bothersome to have to imagine that in a classroom of 30 there are 30 different brains all learning at a different rate and have different prior knowledge. I mean, that's really a nuisance. It'd be better if they were all the same and you could just teach them the same thing. So getting people to understand brain research enough to acknowledge and to change their lessons so that it honors that without having them go nuts trying to figure out the specificity of 30 different thought patterns. In terms of systems thinking, people don't want to admit that it's not downtown's fault that our school's like this, or that it's not that the parents are rotten parents, or that the kids speak a different language. You know, they would rather find someone to blame than to have to deal with the situation that they've created themselves. Miles?
I want to follow up on Emmett's question a little bit. If I understand backwards planning, it means you establish a known objective.
Right. But that known objective is not just that they'll know something. It is they will understand something, and that's different than knowing it.
Okay, but you gave an example of understanding
That balanced diet. Right.
Well, depending on what U.S. government's in place at any given time, we at least have a definition of what that is.
True.
Okay, so that's a known end.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how you've been around long enough to remember discovery learning and project-based learning and some of these other types of learning that didn't begin with a known end. And I'm curious to know how you reconcile those earlier reforms with this approach.
Well, they were wrong.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
I think a lot of those did have maybe an unstated end, but I think they did know kind of where they wanted the kids to get. It wasn't as explicit as this, and this is why I like Grant Wiggins' work, because he makes you be very explicit. But I don't think Discovery Learning didn't have an idea of where they wanted the students to go.
Well, maybe not. I think that model had behaviors they wanted students to.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't think that model laid out a known end. Otherwise, it would have been a discovery.
Right. Yeah.
When it comes to systems theory and having a free flow of information, at what point do you say a culture or the people in that system, right? So you have a school with X number of teachers and certain numbers of parents and students. It has to serve that community. To what extent is the natural difference between rank going to inhibit this free flow of information? Because I see, and I've been told, that the Ministry of Education in Georgia, its role is to help schools decentralize.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing, what we're doing is breaking the system up and compartmentalizing it and inhibiting in a lot of ways the free flow of information while simultaneously trying to make the system more transparent. And so,
Interesting observation.
do we say we want it to be a completely democratic system in a culture where we have different words for you, a formal and an informal, and every interaction inherently has a wall we have to get over? Or do we say we're going to use a language where there's inherently